This evening on The Rock Newman Show, the Soulful Symphony is bringing its special blend of hip-hop, jazz, and classical music to Howard University. They will perform at Crampton Auditorium on Saturday, February 17th. Find out how cutting-edge composer and conductor Darren Atwater is redefining the orchestra experience. That's coming up right now on The Rock Newman Show. Welcome to The Rock Newman Show from the campus of historic Howard University, located in the nation's capital. I'm Rock Newman, and it is my desire to inspire you with personal stories of extraordinary achievement. You're listening to music from the Soulful Symphony. They will appear at Crampton Auditorium this Saturday, February 17th at 7 p.m. Now is the perfect time to speak to the artistic director, Darren Atwater. Darren, thank you so much for being here, man.
It's an honor to be with you, Rock.
I really appreciate you stopping in for us here,
thanks for having me.
Especially on Valentine's Day, Valentine's night, man.
Absolutely.
It's really an honor for us to have you. You have done things with the Soul Symphony that have turned a whole lot of heads.
Yes, sir.
And we admire what you're doing. You are doing a performance this Saturday night,
That's
the
right.
17th, at Crampton Auditorium, 7 p.m.
That's right.
Looking for a packed house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Hey, so I heard something. I heard Wynton Marsalis's voice
Yep.
talking about Darren Atwater, and he said you had a pretty good basketball game. Where was that game developed? I hear you're a local boy.
Yeah, on the streets of D.C. and Prince George's County. I mean, before I picked up a conductor's baton, I had a basketball. I mean, you don't grow up in Prince George's County without being involved in the type of neighborhood I had. So it's funny. The first time I met Wynton at Blues Alley, I went up to New York. He invited me up to his house, and 10 minutes into it, he said, "Hey man, let's go over to LaGuardia High School and hoop." So we played some ball, and we've been doing that for the last 15 years, going at each other.
Yeah. You know what? Tell us about Wynton Marsalis for a second. Tell us what he has meant to the world of music.
Oh wow, Wynton stands in between two traditions. The tradition that was given to us by Duke Ellington, and then tradition that was given to us by Miles Davis, and he's extending that tradition in terms of codifying the jazz canon, meaning classical music has been codified through the European canon of repertoire. What he's done is taken big band music from Duke Ellington and that whole jazz and big band era, and he's codified it, and he's developed an institution around it at Jazz at Lincoln Center. So not only is he inspiring and an amazing artist, composer, musician, but he's involved in social engineering and in engineering the culture in such a way that we have this great body of music that developed in America by African Americans, and he's allowing it to have a center place in our culture and then affect the globe. So he's really central in terms of how he's centralizing.
Man, we are going to have to run Wynton down
Yeah,
and let
yeah,
him see
yeah.
this clip right here of how you just described that, man, because you know what? That's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
That's a big,
Yeah,
that's powerful,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a very
Absolutely,
big deal.
absolutely.
You know, we're talking, man, we're gonna jump around
Yeah,
here, man.
okay.
I got about 14,000 questions to ask you. But while we're talking about Wynton Marsalis, I heard you make a comment. You were talking about the drum and its place in African history throughout the time of slavery until now. And you talk, and I'm saying, as I mentioned Wynton Marsalis here, you talked about how the drum was taken away from the slave as a mode of communication, except one place, and that one place is somewhere that Wynton Marsalis is familiar with, and that's where?
That's Congo Square in New Orleans. Yeah.
And what used to happen in Congo Square? Well, and look, I'm saying this because Valentine's Day, and my wife is looking in here. Happy Valentine's, girlfriend. But she is a fanatic for the drum.
Yeah.
So at Congo Square, what used to happen?
Well, that was the only place where the slaves
in
had
New Orleans.
In New Orleans, that place that they had the day off on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they would congregate, and that was the place that they were able to exercise that signification that took place on the drum. Dancing, the cakewalk, all of these things that come from pre-diaspora Africa. And, you know, the communication that took place on the drum went far beyond just a musical communication. It was coded. It was something that is just deep in our rhythmic DNA.
Yeah.
And just a place of expression, a place of dancing and just celebrating a culture, celebrating who we are. Yeah.
You play drums?
You know, I started off playing drums. Everybody plays drums, I say. You know, you beating on something.
Let me ask the control room if we still have that picture. We have that picture. Okay.
Yeah, you got me.
We got you. We got you, man. And look, talking about playing the drums as a kid.
Yeah.
So you started into this world of music at 4 years old.
I did.
On mom's or grandma's piano?
Grandma's Wurlitzer piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, she sent it up from North Carolina to our home, and my sister started playing first. And I would go to her lessons, and then one day I just jumped up on the piano and I, you know, kind of started my playing, and I, you know, haven't stopped since.
Okay, so look, so you jumped up on the piano then. Did you have the aptitude and a talent that when you first started, you played something that made sense, or were you just doing, you know, like I've tried to do throughout my life, and just bang something, make some noise when you first started?
Well, the legend goes, and you know, legends and myth, they grow as you get further from the point of reference. But as the legend goes in my household, I got up on the piano, and I can remember the first song that I played, actually.
What was it?
It was called "I'll Praise His Name." It was from the church choir that I grew up. So I grew up hearing all these sounds, and
Look
my
here,
mom.
this is WHUT, and we got that audience out there. I praise His name. That's your first song. You know, some folks out there right now saying hallelujah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, from then it just, you know, took a life of its own. But, yeah, I remember.
So let me understand, man. Your first song, was it the first time
that was the first time I got up and played.
You got on the piano, and the first time you played I Praise His Name.
That was the song that I played. And, you know, it was a moment of inspiration. You know, only like a God moment.
Yeah.
A God thing, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And it's kind of been it's kind of followed me from that moment.
Okay, so give us a little bit, you know, share with us sort of your journey. You did that at a very early age. And what was the trajectory? What was your trajectory?
Well, my household was inundated with music. My mom was a singer. She was a contralto. She went to Spelman and wanted to go to New York to study music. Someone asked her to come, but my grandmother wasn't having it.
Okay.
So music was a big part. Both my parents were really involved in the church here in D.C. Both sang on the church choir, and that was a large part of what they did.
You went to church just a few blocks here on New Jersey Avenue.
God, yep.
Yeah.
And every Thursday I was in rehearsal with them, and Sunday, and they sang around. So I was kind of taking that all in. And then I played in elementary school trumpet, and middle school, and then I got introduced to, along with Ella Fitzgerald and the music my mom listened to, the music of Richard Smallwood, who was a DC gospel artist. Yeah. And so I'm just kind of trudging along with no aspirations in terms of from my mom or my dad to be, you know, tracked as a musician. Because I had that moment of inspiration and learned by ear, it was tough for me to find a music teacher. Because I would go to my lessons and they would, you know, have me studying Clementi and Mozart, and I would ask them to play the sonata, and I would memorize. I would hear it by ear, and so I was playing for years just using my ear.
Really?
And, yeah, so that was tough. And then I got a.
Well, now you said that was tough. What was tough? Was it tough that you're hearing it by ear, but then you're forced to look at a page and study?
Absolutely. That was tough to make that translation from just, like you're saying, using my ear to play and then having to put myself in a straitjacket and pretty much learn the music. But my teacher got me one day. He said, we're going to start at measure 20 and not at the beginning. So he kind of peeped my game out. And from that time, I kind of finding a teacher. And then high school, I wasn't too much involved in music. In my neighborhood, it was more basketball again and sports.
Right.
I was popular when I could play like Rocky or movie, on the piano, but in terms of just doing music, it wasn't something I was involved in. And then I came back we moved to North Carolina, I moved back to Maryland and went to Morgan State University.
Right.
And actually went on an accounting scholarship.
Uh-huh.
And a cousin there was studying music, and she introduced me to the chairman, and he said, well, I hear that you're a musician. Can you play something for me? And I played, and he said, man, what in the world are you doing over there in accounting?
Right.
Get over here in the music department. And I said, well, if you can convince my dad, to let me switch my major. He called my dad, and then, that was, the official path to becoming a professional musician. But before then, to your point, I didn't have any point of reference of what it was to be a professional musician. I had a point of reference to those who played in church and then, worked wherever. But in terms of what it was to pursue music as a lifelong goal and a profession, it was out of the realm of possibility for me.
Darren, I want to ask you to help me with something here, and it may well help those who are looking in, viewing us here. So, I was a kid. My brothers were all athletes, and so I aspired to play baseball.
Right.
That's what I did, man. But I had a cousin, and he played the trumpet in high school, and he really got a lot of accolades for it. Won a lot of awards. And this was maybe when I was 10 years old or so. He got a scholarship, which I thought was like really this great deal, man. He got a scholarship to Florida A&M playing the trumpet. And I would see some photos of him, playing that trumpet in his uniform and everything. And man, so I started out trying to see, can I play the trumpet? Can I play the drum?
Right.
I had no talent. I have no musical talent whatsoever. My wife reminds me whenever I try to sing that I have none of that talent. So for the kid that is out there that is looking, that, sort of feels that yearning. Now, you had something extraordinarily special.
Right.
But that is feeling that yearning to want to do that. What do you say to that kid? What do you say to his parents?
Pay attention to what he's doing creatively. I feel like we all have a creative impulse, and you have to expose children to opportunities to have that switch go off. For you, it was in close proximity with a friend. But sometimes you may have to go beyond that and take them to events like we're doing Saturday night at Crampton and expose them to the possibilities of what may become of that creative spark that's inside of them. I think exposure is huge, and I don't think kids get enough exposure. And our culture has become so marginalized in terms of, learning the trumpet or the instruments that we're doing, live instrumentation and live performance, that sometimes you have to, just blaze the trail for them, exposing to those types of.
So man, I want to go back to your time at Morgan when the gentleman, you said
Dr. Nathan Carter
was the chairman of the department?
Yes. Chairman of the music department.
So tell me what that has meant to you, that he discovered something in you that you didn't really know was there.
I didn't. It goes beyond that. The Baltimore Sun did a story on me, and in that story, he said, I see Darren as a composer and a conductor. And this was 10 years before I even thought about that. So he had the insight to see in me some raw talent that had been developed since 4, and to kind of place me in a position to be mentored by him, to have the classical foundation that took place in terms of the theory and the things that the music department and that program developed, but also to be a guiding force and a light in that point of reference. And so everything points back to that moment, like you're saying, of insight, where somebody looks at you and says, hey, I see something in him that needs to be cultivated.
And then you had a relatively solid spiritual foundation that undergirded you.
Yes, absolutely.
So what role did your growing up in the church and did your faith play in now you taking a big leap?
Yeah. I mean, that's what faith is. It's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's what it says in Hebrews. So it's just a matter of trusting that still small voice that we all have,
Yeah.
and that when you're involved and surrounded by parents and a community of believers, they help to fan that flame. So that part of you is a little bit more keen than others who don't have that experience. So I was able to lean on that and trust in that and believe that all these things that were before me, that there was a plan and there was a God that was going before me to make sure that those things kind of manifested themselves. So,
Yeah.
but that's still at that same point, you have to have the courage to jump out there and,
Right.
and take the risk.
Right.
And that's what it was.
Yeah. So 10 years before you ever did your composing,
That's
you ever
right.
did any kind of conducting, this guy said he saw you as being such.
Absolutely.
And what did you think?
I thought he was, out of his mind. As Dr. Carter, a mentor or somebody, just making some grand expectations. But in terms of fulfilling that and living up to that, it was so far away from what I could imagine for myself.
Yeah.
Because then back to, like we were saying before college, I hadn't even aspired to be a musician professionally.
Right.
So to now being engaged in the act of studying and practicing and becoming a musician, to becoming a conductor and a composer, I mean, I was like light years away from what I thought was possible.
Tell us about that journey. Tell us about that journey,
Yeah,
because success doesn't happen
That's
overnight.
right. That's right. Absolutely.
So it doesn't happen overnight, and there are always roadblocks. There are always challenges. Tell us about that journey from you hearing him speaking an aspiration for you, and then you realizing that aspiration.
Yeah. So at Morgan, I was studying piano. I was a piano major, and most HBCUs and most universities is very classically oriented. So you're learning, it's very Eurocentric, you're learning classical music. And then I got an impulse to start arranging. And his band, the band director there, Melvin Miles, who's in charge of the marching band and the jazz band, he was the first one to actually say, I think you're a composer. And so I started trying to arrange, and he said the way that you play the piano, you're actually thinking of the piano, which is really an orchestra under your hands. It has all the range of every instrument there. He said, the way you think harmonically and musically as a composer. And it just that was the first spark to make me start to investigate at the piano composing.
I want you to continue, but I just
yeah.
want to interject this. I'm just sitting here just filled with just abject raging envy, man, because I'm telling you, what you do is something that I personally, I just love and admire and always wanted to be there,
sir.
and I can't never get there. so let me not interrupt you.
No,
but yeah, you were talking about the process.
Yeah, and then, I'm coming from these what we call vernacular roots music, gospel, church music, jazz, and I'm trying to kind of reconcile classical music to those. And so I started to have the urge to compose. So I took another huge leap. Morgan at the time didn't have a composition program. So I started self-study, meaning I would buy all the scores of the great classical composers, Beethoven, Mozart, buy a CD at that time, and I would listen to both, and then I would go to the National Symphony, Kennedy Center, or the Baltimore Symphony and hear the orchestra and just get all those sounds. And
was it one of those composers that resonated with you more than the other, or you just getting a little
at
something
that point,
from
I didn't
all
know.
of it?
Yeah, I was just kind of like just taking it all in. I
Okay.
mean, at this point, I can name a few, but at that point, I'm just trying to take into the sound and the world of classical music. And so from a classical position and as a piano major, I started my own piece, which was a piano concerto, which is a kind of a solo piano piece combined with the orchestra, and you put those two together, and it's called the concerto. So in my mind, I said, well, I'm gonna write my own piece, and I'm gonna write a piano concerto based on Rachmaninoff and this Russian concerto piece. And I spent 2 years away from school writing this piece. Just 2 years straight writing this piece.
And so people around you at that time, were they kind of looking at you?
Yeah, they're
side-eye?
like, what's going on? Where are you doing? What's going
Yeah.
on? Why are
Yeah.
you pursuing this path?
Yeah.
And one of the visits to
So was this something that was just pulling you where you had to do this?
it was pulling me. Another story, back to the Morgan State Choir, we were one of the only HBCUs who sang with the symphony orchestra every year. So our spring concert was with the Baltimore Chamber Orchestra.
Okay.
So that was the first time I saw our music with orchestra. That was a major point. And so that began to tug on me, and like you're saying, pulling me towards this kind of investigation of how I merge these two worlds I'm coming from. So I go to the Kennedy Center, I run into the artistic director there who knew me from Morgan. He said, well, we're doing an outreach program. What are you doing these days? I know you're a piano player. I said, well, I happen to be composing now. I'm writing this piece. And he said, well, bring it in, let's look at it. I went in there and met with the conductor and artistic director, and they said, well, we're going to program this next spring with the National Symphony.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So 12 months later, I'm on stage at the Kennedy Center with my first piece of music. I have not studied with a professor.
Yeah.
This is all self-study.
Yeah.
1995, May 19th, I'll never forget it. I was on stage with NSO and I performed my first piano piece with the orchestra.
With the National Symphony.
With the National Symphony Orchestra. And that was like a quantum leap. That just set me on my course of really getting really serious about it. So after that, I applied to Peabody Institute Conservatory, and I got accepted there, and that was the next thing.
You know, man, let me share this with you. Since we boys here
Yes,
sitting here
sir.
talking.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned National Symphony, and that takes me back to 1993, and I had a reading of Peter and the Wolf.
Oh my goodness.
With the National Symphony at the Carter Barron
Yes, sir.
at the
Yeah,
Carter Barron
yeah, yeah.
Amphitheater, and I'm reading in the part that says, "Little boys like Peter aren't scared of a wolf."
Right.
Well, I'm managing Riddick Bowe, the heavyweight
Yes,
champion of
sir.
the world
Yes,
at that
sir.
time. His 6-year-old son is in the audience. So I said, "Little boys like Peter or Riddick Bowe Jr. are not scared of some wolf." He stands up, is dead silent, and said, "I'm gonna get you, Rocky." So at least I've been with.
We
You know
got
what I'm
that in
saying?
common, man.
We got some identity going
And
here.
you have some musicality into you, because you got to know where your cues are, man. You're not just reading. That's Prokofiev, man. That's a complicated piece.
Man,
So.
I'll tell you what, we want to take a look here. We got some footage here of you doing your thing.
All right.
Let's take a look. When you mentioned the Kennedy Center, there's so much that it makes me think about. Two of the things that surface first are, we just lost one of the great trumpet players ever, Hugh Masekela.
That's right, South Africa.
And you know, it was near the Kennedy Center where I saw him. They used to block off the street down behind the Lincoln Memorial, and they would do concerts there. And I saw Hugh Masekela perform there. What an incredible talent.
Unbelievable. I mean, just the transportation of jazz to South Africa and then the merging there is just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing what he was able to.
And my wife and I were just at the Kennedy Center. We saw a performance by someone who has had gone to the mountaintop,
That's right.
fell off,
Yes.
if you will,
That's right.
and is back to the mountaintop again.
absolutely.
I'm speaking about soprano, opera singer, Kathleen Battle.
Yes, the diva.
Tell me
Yeah.
about Kathleen Battle.
Kathleen, again, is, we all follow a trajectory of tradition, and she takes over from Leontine Price and became the centerpiece of opera and concert music in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Just the coloratura soprano, and just her lyricism her voice is like an angel.
Yes.
And I had an opportunity to play with Kathleen Battle and the National Symphony in '97. They renovated and they reopened it. So I was her pianist that night, and she's tough.
Yes.
She's tough. She's a tough woman. Just her values of excellence and her expectations.
Yeah.
But it's good to see her back in her place and in the center of American culture and American opera music and concerting. She's doing a piece called The Underground Railroad.
That was it. That's what we
yeah,
saw, man,
yeah.
where she brought to life.
Yes.
She brought to life Harriet Tubman.
That's
she
right.
brought to life
That's right.
Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
Through those songs and with the backup that she had there, man,
Yeah.
it was absolutely phenomenal.
And telling that story of the Negro spirituals, keeping that alive, and the art songs and the tradition of European art songs, and making sure that those songs are on par with that. I think it's so important, and she has been committed to that music and committed to the culture and making sure that that part of our culture remains visible at the highest level of our art.
Yeah.
So I applaud her for her, like you're saying, that comeback story, man, and that second chance is it's amazing.
Yeah, she's
It's
back
amazing.
and back
She's
strong.
back. She's back.
At
back
the absolute top
absolutely.
of her game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, man, here's what I'm fascinated by. I'd like for you to expound on this for us. So, the orchestra, big band stuff, is traditionally absolutely thought of having its European roots.
Right.
And you've done something with the Soul Symphony Orchestra where you have merged, melded the tradition with whatever you want to do now, whether that is jazz, whether that is R&B,
That's right.
whether that is hip hop. You busting out some Marvin Gaye, man,
right, that's
and
right.
paying tribute to Roberta Flack
That's right.
and Donny Hathaway.
That's right. That's right.
When I call those names, folks, in case you don't know, that's Howard people. That's Howard University people.
Yeah.
So did you find any resistance to your trying to expand what was a European tradition? Did you get any pushback?
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
I mean, America has been at odds with itself in terms of what the symphony orchestra means from the beginning. Of course, it's a Europe, we inherited from Europe, and you have composers from Europe who come here to run our conservatories once we start to begin to institutionalize our musical traditions. So the idea of infusing and melding, as you said, our tradition and our vernacular and roots music into something that's been so heavily Eurocentric is something, it's almost like oil and water to the purists and traditionalists. I mean, if we go back in history, we have composers like Antonin Dvorak, who wrote the Ninth Symphony, his New World Symphony. He comes from Bohemia to America and says to American composers, how come you're not looking to your nationalistic music, the native sounds of your culture, to build your school, to build this orchestral canon? And it's because we've had this sociological rub with race. And so what ascendant quality can come from music of slaves or music of Native Americans? So Europeans continue to tie themselves back to Europe instead of looking to their own music. And so it's been my mission in terms of further investigating even European music. We think of that as this high art, but that music was their popular music in its time. Mozart's music was all Austrian folk songs. Rachmaninoff and Tchaikovsky, all Russian folk music. Beethoven played for court dances and wrote country dances and wrote German dances. So all this music was very popular and contemporary in its time. Then we get 400 years removed from that, and it becomes very static and very museum-oriented music and very Eurocentric. And so my mission was to take the symphony orchestra and begin to frame it around our music, much like the classical composers did of their time and in their places of history. And I think the resistance becomes a matter of, one, diversifying something that has stood for so long as a European model, and then trying to look to our music like jazz and hip hop. We did a hip hop symphony at Strathmore in 2007, and the whole orchestra had on jeans. I had Tim's on, jeans, and I mean, you know, so it's the whole thing. And you know, I had to warn the audience, hey, this is hip hop music. You're gonna hear some rappers come out here in a second. But this music is just like jazz was, 80 years ago, where you had the Daughters of the Revolution in the propaganda to try to outlaw this red light district music. So about 80 years or so, we always come to terms and wrestle with ourselves in terms of how we define ourselves through our music. And I believe that the symphony orchestra is just another apparatus to begin to speak and to have conversations around who we are. But it's just on a grand scale, and it's just demystifying what that high art means and trying to build a bridge to pop culture, and to give an experience to people who would normally not have that experience unless they are cultured or going to the symphony. So that's been the thing that's been so wildly successful with us, is that we have this European model, but then we're inside of it, we're putting our music so people can come and relate to it. And that's been an education. Because for the first 5 years, you say Soulful Symphony, people are thinking they're coming to hear classical music.
Yeah.
And then they come in here Motown, and they're hearing hip hop and jazz.
Yeah.
So after 15 years, our model has now become the model of other symphony orchestras. Yeah.
So let me see. I want to be able to ask this question without offending anybody.
Sometimes that's hard to do.
Yeah, man. Because whether it is Michael Jackson or Tupac or Rick James or Mozart or Beethoven, there is somewhere there is a chord where great musicians are so often marching not only to a different drum beat, but a whole different symphony.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is it anything, man, you can enlighten us or to weigh in on the peculiarities, if you will, of these geniuses who are often thought to be madmen?
Yeah, I mean, it's simple to me, but very complicated to others. We live in a very concrete world. You have this table here, we have this show, the world is ordered a certain way, things happen in a certain way, you can determine what's going to be next. Creatives have to live in an abstraction. So we're trying to pull things that are not even manifested in its physical nature yet. It's not concrete. It's abstraction. So we're constantly in the abstract, trying to pull things out of the sky and out of the heavens and out of creativity and out of places that have not yet manifested themselves through sound or through art or through all these different aspects of culture. And trying to reconcile that abstract to the concrete, man, it can drive you mad. It can drive you mad sometimes, because you're trying to produce and you're putting yourself in a place where you're creating something and trying to present it to people and trying to have a great conversation about art, and then you have these expectations to live in the time and space of now and deliver certain things at a certain time. So it becomes very challenging.
You know, Darren, that makes me think of a conversation that I had with a guy. Man, he became a really dear friend of mine. His name is Saul Zaentz. He produced 3 Oscar-winning films in the 70s, 80s, and it was either 90s or 2000.
Okay.
The English Patient.
Oh yeah, great movie.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Amadeus.
Yes.
About Mozart.
Yes, sir.
And so I had a conversation with him, because for him to prepare to do this blockbuster film, he had to do a lot of research, man. And hearing you express how creatives have to pull stuff from somewhere that is not in any way concrete.
That's right. That's right.
It really reminded me of the conversation I had with him about his respect for Mozart, because I mean, Mozart was thought to be on the absolute end of the envelope of crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But is more brilliant than he was crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's true. I mean, and then it becomes the research, and then it becomes the solitude necessary to go into that space and pull that out.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to deal with the full range of the human drama and the human experience through your art, the joy, the sorrow, the laughter. I mean, you have to channel and be a conduit for that whole expression of human emotion and the whole spectrum. And to be singular in something that is so grand and so broad and so wide, and be that one person that has to make that, whether it's Prince or Rick James, it's amazing.
So let me ask you, because you talked about the 2-year time when you were pulled, to do what you were doing. So was it during that time, did that experience give you an appreciation or an understanding of what we're talking about right now?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's that gestation period, and then it's over. The other thing is, it's over so quickly. Or the feeling that happens, like if you're composing a piece of music, it might take me a month to write 9 or 10 measures, which might be a minute and a half. and then that's going to go by you in 10 seconds when you're hearing it.
Yeah.
When I first wrote my first piece, my dad, he wasn't too convinced at first, and he heard the piece with the symphony. He said, "Man, it took you 2 years to write something that went by in 18 minutes."
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just the dedication
Yeah.
to pull yourself away and to deal with the demands of creativity, and it just gave me, like you're saying, a whole another level of respect for artists and creatives that allow themselves to submit to that process.
So you submitted to those, you submitted and committed yourself to the demands of creativity.
Yeah.
What happened with the rest of your life
Oh.
during that period?
It has a way of sucking up other areas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a sacrifice that the relationships that you have, it takes a toll. I mean, I had my first marriage that was really heavily impacted by that, because I mean, you can't go to the Friday night dinners and you can't go on the cruises because it takes a certain amount of time to dedicate to that. So it impacted everything. You know, it impacted your time with your friends, your time with and then you're composing music for the orchestra.
Yeah.
So not only are you having that creativity where you might have a band of guys when you're working that out, but you have to physically compose and write and notate everything that's going to be done by the symphony orchestra, every note, every rest.
Wow.
So that alone, that time, it's like watching paint dry, man, watching grass grow.
Oh, man.
Just a dedication. And
So I want to do an advisory here, because people are talking about you saying first marriage, and, you know, the time that you spend at Morgan and different things that you're doing. And they're looking in and say, how could this 24-year-old guy have accomplished all that? So I'm a tattletale on you. I'm talking out of school for a minute.
Yeah.
He's not 24, he's about to be 48 years old.
Absolutely, yeah, in July, man.
Man, God's been good to
He
you.
has.
God's been good to you. So you are talking about the process of developing your work and how committed you have to be to it, and go in, and what you're doing is you're some kind of way of putting on paper what is ultimately going to be the sound of the oboe.
That's right.
Or the violin.
That's right.
Or the piano.
That's right.
The saxophone, whatever it might be. So how does that come to you? Do you start with going back what you started with at 4 years old, the piano? Is there some place you start all the time, or is your process one where if you just feel something, you just get it from the abstract?
Yeah, I get it from the abstract, but I did a lot in my work with Soulful Symphony. It's around narrative, and it's around our story and our experience.
Okay.
So if I'm writing a piece of work, I'm dealing around that experience, and then I begin to make concepts and ideas around that, and then the actual art of composing becomes one of making decisions like architecture. Who's going to airspace, who's going to be here, and who's going to play the melody, and what instruments are going to play the harmony. Yeah. Those things are pretty standard boilerplate things in terms of orchestration.
Right.
But then when you start to deal with our music and how rhythmic it is, and then how to apply the orchestra to African American music where it has to groove, and it has to do this where the orchestra is used to, you know, very structured and square rhythms, that becomes another, you know, set of decisions. So it's just negotiating a bunch of, you know, choices and decisions around which orchestration is. Yeah. I mean, I say it's the same thing as, you know, my mother was a great cooking what the spice is going to be, how much flour I'm going to put in there, and how long it has to bake. I mean, it becomes like, you know, analogous to something like that. It's just a matter of choices.
You said African American piece. You know, you said it had to have some groove.
Yeah.
Gotta have some swag.
Gotta have
to
some
it.
swag, baby.
Yeah.
Gotta have some swag, and that's not always easy to do when you have an orchestra and musicians who are used to playing, you know, really squared off music, you know, to make it swing. They always say swing the eighth notes. You know, eighth notes can be pretty dry in classical music, but then you have to start to swing those when you get to our music. So.
Yeah, you know what, man? I can never properly capture. I started to call him yesterday, knowing that I was doing this interview.
Yeah.
But I had a conversation, man, with Quincy Jones.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, are we talking about composition royalty or what?
He sits in the pantheon of my mentors and idols. I
really?
mean, just because of the breadth and the weight of the types of music that he's had his hands under, and the traditions and the history. I mean, he sits at the center of so much of American culture. I mean, he actually embodies as a man and as a
Yeah.
musician, everything that we represent in America in terms of our music.
Yeah.
From the early big band era to the pop era to people forget about the film music that he wrote.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
in Cold Blood and all.
Yeah.
I mean, and
His
then to
long-standing friendship with Ray Charles.
Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, and you know, discovering Michael Jackson from The Wiz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having to fight with Epic Records because they thought he was a jazz guy to produce,
That's
you know,
right.
his first album.
That's right.
And then going on
That's
to
right.
sell,
Yeah.
you know, 40 million.
Yeah.
So Q, man, is just, he embodies so much for me. I mean,
So I'll mess this up, but I'll fumble through it. So he said something, he was talking about the notes, 7 notes.
yeah.
He was talking about the 7 notes, and he said, and I'm sure enough paraphrasing, because how he said it was eloquent. I will be inarticulate. But something about the 7 notes, and he described them. And then he said, next is God.
Yeah.
Can you
Well, I
imagine
mean,
what he might have been?
The only thing that I can think of in terms of an analogy is that you have the 7 notes, you have the 12 diatonic notes, but you have the 7 notes, and then you return back to the 8th note is really back to 1. It's unison, or it's the octave.
Yeah.
So it's the
That was
alpha
it.
and the omega, and it's back to God.
Yeah, that's
it's
it.
back to 1.
That's
it's
it.
back to the 1.
That's it.
Yeah,
That is
yeah, yeah.
that is absolutely it. Man.
Yeah, I've not heard that quote from him, but that is such a profound way of seeing that and capturing that and articulating that. Only like Quincy can.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal that, and I'll credit him the first 3 or 4 times.
That's right. And then, so
That's brilliant.
Darren. So now talk to us about what has been happening with your soul symphony.
Yeah.
But no, you know what? Let me go here. Let me go because I'm trying to get it all in.
Yeah.
So, as a composer, do you have a favorite instrument, or are the instruments like children and you can't say you got a favorite one?
Yeah, I mean, I have a favorite. I like the cello, and I like the French horn.
Why?
And the range that the cello has can go from, you know, the violin down to the double bass. So it just has the range, and the tessitura through its voices and through its different strings, it can take on different characters that the high strings can. And then the French horns just have this mellow. I mean, it's like the birth of cool, that Gil Evans, Miles Davis period when he was using French horns with Miles. I mean, I just love that sound. And then my favorite ensemble, which sits outside of the symphony orchestra that I incorporate, is the saxophone section. You know, altos, tenor, and barry. That section I do a lot with that. So I would say that those 3 are mine. But you know, the orchestration. I mean, once you start combining instruments, they all take on their own different flavor and different style.
Yeah. So you know, you say these things that give me these buzz, these buzzwords. Because the other thing, I grew up a quarter mile from Wilmers Park, which had was part of the Chitlin circuit, and all the acts used to come down. And one of my favorites to sit out on the porch when I was about 10 years old was somebody named Junior Walker.
Wow.
So when you talk that saxophone, man, that's you know,
I absolutely,
I absolutely go right there. So part of what you're doing with the Soul Orchestra, again, we'll repeat. You know, you've got the traditional.
Right.
You've wrapped it sort of in the African American experience. You really have sort of lifted that up and made it a part. And so change some things. You've been a change agent. So if anybody asks me like who my favorite artist is, that's a hard question. But somewhere at the top of the list is Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Washington D.C.
Yes,
homeboy,
Yes, sir.
Cardozo High School.
Yeah.
So talk to us about Marvin's evolution.
Well, I mean, Marvin, of course, again, a lot of the fountainhead of our music is in the church.
Yeah.
You know. So he has that in his quiver, as I call it. And then to begin to take around the traditions of late '60s music and soul music, and then the consciousness of the civil rights movement, and you know, just how I applaud those artists, because not only did they create feel-good music and music that made us celebrate who we are, but they were very socially conscious people, and that bled in through their music. And so I think Marvin he embodied that world of fusing socially conscious music with feel-good music.
Yeah.
He took, embraced his sexuality
Yeah.
and the whole human drama again.
Yeah.
And so he's one that kind of speaks to that whole
And the
spectrum of-
story, man, the powerful story of Berry Gordy wanting him to be the next Frank Sinatra.
That's right,
you know,
that's right.
stay cool, man,
Yeah,
stay crooning,
yeah, yeah,
that sort of thing
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But then his pull and insistence, it was like he was an irresistible force, had an irresistible spirit that manifested itself far away from the sex symbol stuff.
That's right.
Into what's going on.
That's right. That's right. And that only happens when you're digging deep inside of yourself, like we're saying, with whatever that spiritual aspect, or being connected to your people and that experience, and wanting to understanding that the power of art allows us to have a conversation and an impact that a lot of times we don't have in terms of the areas of politics and other areas.
Yeah. The power of art.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that somebody like yourself, when you see funding cut for the arts in high schools now, that's got to be very painful.
Yeah, it's terrible. We've adopted about 2 schools in Baltimore, and we've been going into schools for the last 15 years. And every show that we do, we have an open rehearsal where kids can come in, and I do master's classes. But what it does is cutting us off from ourselves. There's a Sankofa bird back in Africa where it says, you look back and you take the tradition and to move you forward. And what's happening is our schools, the kids are no longer connected to, acoustic music, live music. It's been kind of fragmented. And so the education and the cultivation that comes from music appreciation is something that is lacking, and it's something that is, I'm really have a heartbeat to help.
So do you understand, there's a body of evidence that states that when there is an appreciation and an understanding for music, it so dramatically helps in other areas of learning.
Absolutely, math scores go up.
Why? Do you know why?
Well, the music, it connects both sides of the hemispheres of the brain.
Okay.
So it connects the right and the left hemisphere, and music allows us to tap into our creativity, but it also allows us to negotiate with larger aspects of our humanity and learning.
Yeah.
So it's an exploration of all those things that kind of help enliven, our education.
So this event Saturday night here on campus at Crampton Auditorium, it is in part a fundraiser for the Bison Express.
That's right.
Hats off to Bruce Williams, who has
goodness.
taken over that organization and is just doing a fabulous job.
Absolutely.
So tell our viewers, what they can expect coming this Saturday night. As a matter of fact, for those who are out there who haven't done the right thing by their mate for tonight, for Valentine's Day, maybe you can make some amends.
That's right.
By coming out on Saturday night.
That's right. Yeah. Well, Saturday night, I've themed the program. Again, I always talk about narrative. It's called To DC with Love. So with, me being a Washingtonian and a native, I wanted to, it's a full circle moment for me at Crampton as well. I want to interject this. My first live recording was with Richard Smallwood in 1993, which he did live at Crampton Auditorium. So what we're doing is, of course,
I want to come back to Richard too.
Of course,
so much to get in.
Right.
I want to get into some of that. So this full circle.
Yeah. The Best of Soulful Symphony, of course, we do a mashup of all of our shows. We try to, have our signature pieces, which is excerpts of Song in a Strange Land, which was the impetus for Soulful Symphony. Really came from a piece of music that I wrote called Song in a Strange Land that actually won an Emmy on PBS in 2009, which is an amalgamation of Negro spirituals combined with the orchestra in a way that they never have been. So we make it a point to make sure that signature piece of ours, which was at our beginning, is kind of somehow showcased on all of our shows. So we'll have that, and then we'll have a part where we dedicate to DC alum and Howard alum.
Okay.
And so we're doing everything from Donny Hathaway to Roberta Flack. We're going to do some Richard Smallwood tribute. We're going to do some Chuck Brown.
Yeah.
So we're going to Marvin Gaye. We're going to
Oh,
touch on
man.
all. Yeah, we're going to touch on all the legends of DC and then the Howard alum. Doing a piece in tribute to Zora Neale Hurston and Thurgood Marshall, where we're juxtaposing their speeches on some of my arrangements.
Yeah.
So it's just a kind of a gumbo and a potpourri of musical tributes and in a way that speaks to Howard and DC and Soulful Symphony and African American culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, we lost Donny Hathaway way too soon.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Donny's impact.
Donny was, you know, a lot of gets lost again on his artistry and his musicianship from the keyboard, from the piano.
Yeah.
You think of A Song for You and For All We Know, and
Song
just
for You. Absolutely,
yeah, I mean, just his way. Of course, again, his European studying of classical music finds its way into the structure of his songs.
Right.
And his voice was just golden.
Yeah,
I
his
mean,
Christmas
just-
song.
His
Christmas song.
And then again, you see that struggle with his humanity in terms of fighting depression. You know, he dealt a lot with that, and so you feel that pathos and that melancholy in his songs. You feel his heart. You know, he was very transparent in that way, where you can listen to his song and kind of know what he's going through. So I think he was very instrumental. And then to get to Richard Smallwood. He was at Howard during the time Richard was a freshman. Donny Hathaway was there.
Yeah.
So Richard shares the story of Donny encouraging him and showing him things on, you know, certain harmonies and feeding into him. So it just is like, you know, it's a full circle for Richard as well.
Yeah, you know, and of course, we're going to talk about Howard and Howard people. We can't leave out Roberta Flack.
That's right. That's right.
And Roberta, you know, it's interesting. You talked about, you know, how you describe what art does. And how powerful it is. To this day, which is nearly 50 years later, I remember driving on Benning Road over by RFK Stadium. Actually, we were headed to one of your old spots, Johnny Boys. You know about Johnny Boys.
I do La Plata, baby.
And I heard Roberta Flack the first time I ever saw your face.
Wow.
And it stilled me then, and it stills me now.
Yeah.
I think of a word, haunting.
Yes, that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was powerful.
She was powerful, and you know, her lyricism, the way that she was a storyteller.
Yeah.
The way that she was able to take the aspects of love and sensuality and the human relationships and marry them to music and song was amazing. Yeah. And her collaborations with Donny, just amazing.
Yeah. You know, I saw her in Crampton Auditorium.
And you know you're giving me a history lesson too, right?
Oh, hello. This might have been 1970. And you know what? And I sat there. Now there was a dynamic going on, man. And I was just like looking, because I was a couple of rows behind Jesse Jackson.
Wow.
And Roberta sang Reverend Lee.
Okay.
And Jesse's name is Jesse Lee Jackson. And I kept watching Jesse. So I think some other folks in the audience also was running Reverend Lee. And I won't go through the rest of it.
Right, what's going on?
I won't go through the rest of the lyrics there. So man, what's the future? The future of music, one, if I can get you to talk about that quickly. And then what are you going to do with Soul Symphony Orchestra in the future?
Well, I think the future of music, I think we're coming to a point where this whole digital revolution and this integration of different styles of music and artists and experiencing music on platforms, whether it's your iPhone or through social media, I think that's going to run its course, and people will have to eventually come back to live experience and ritual.
I hope so.
I think social dancing, social ritual, experiencing music and community is something that I believe is going to be it's going to kind of be a back to the future moment, because that's something that we've lost inside of our music, is the whole aspect of ritual. And then also the aspect of people participating in song and dance.
Yeah.
I mean, we've kind of like abdicated music and art and dance to professionals.
Yeah.
So you have people who say, oh, I'm not a singer, or I'm not a dance, you
Yeah.
know, this person is a dancer, or this
Yeah.
person is a singer. Well, music at its core and art at its core is an activity.
Yeah, and man,
And it's
when
a
you
ritual.
digitize stuff,
Yeah.
you don't capture the
You don't
soul
capture
as
the
much.
soul. You don't capture the soul because that's organic.
Yeah.
And that's a call and response between two people who are feeling each other and responding.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're on stage, we can tell when the audience is responding. There's a flow and there's a wave, and they inspire us, and
Yeah.
then we inspire them.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And I think that's, you know, the future of music is in ritual, and in us returning to somehow finding a way where technology marries itself back to ritual. I say, you know, when you leave people with the power of technology and the power of politics without their humanity, you know, we're poorer for it.
Yeah.
So we have to come back to that, finding a way to.
So, man, in this last 20 seconds, I'm going to say it real quick. I'm going to say Happy Valentine's Day to my girlfriend out there, my wife, Dee Dee.
Yeah,
Anybody
yeah,
you want to
yeah, yeah.
shout out to?
Well, my family, all of my family, just happy Valentine's Day. Looking forward to seeing them.
Man, thank you. Looking forward to
Thank
seeing
you,
you
Rod.
Saturday
Thank you.
night, man.
Thank you for
I'm
having
going to be
me.
up close and personal.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Probably
sir.
acting a fool because I love what you do, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
For having me. Thanks for having me.
Again, Darren Atwater and the Soulful Symphony will perform at Howard University's Crampton Auditorium this Saturday, February 17th at 7 p.m. That wraps us for this evening. For more information on this program or any other program produced by WHUT, go to WHUT.org. Goodbye and God bless.
This program was produced by WHUT, Howard University Television, and made possible by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.